What's going on, guys? Jesse from Sledaddicz here. Hope you all had a great summer. As we start getting closer to sled season, I'm starting to think about sleds. And one of the products I have today is the Bite Harder light for the sled. I got this for the VR1 last year and I didn't get a chance to install it. So what I wanted to do today was just give you guys a step-by-step video on how to install this product on our Polaris VR1 850. So stay tuned and we're going to go through it step by step. In the box, you get a really nice instruction pamphlet that goes through all the steps of how to install the Bite Harder light. You get some clips for where we're going to route our wiring, some alcohol pads to clean the bodywork before you stick the lights on, some zip ties to tie down and neaten up all the wiring, and then here is the bulk of it. So these are the two lights, and then it comes with a fuse, switch, and all the in-house wiring already done for you there. So let's get into the install. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is remove the hood. So on the Polaris, it's super easy. Basically, we're gonna take off our side panels. Once the side panels are off, just these two clips on each side that twist off. Then the whole dash is ready to lift up, except you have to unplug the one connection to the dash, and then the whole dash comes off once you get these clips off here. There you go. And that's it. Super easy to remove this. Okay, so once the hood's off, the next thing is just to find exactly where the lights are gonna go. So on the VR1, they're gonna go on the inside of this groove. That would be the same for any Matrix Polaris. So now that we know the place, I'm just gonna wipe these down with some alcohol. Now that those are wiped down, the next thing we can do is disconnect the cables for the lights. Once those are disconnected, now we have the lights nice and loose. We can find our placement. So for these lights, they're gonna go right about there. And I'm just gonna take the adhesive off.
One eternity later.
So now that those lights are installed, the next thing we can do is drill the holes to get this wiring through and into the inside. I just finished drilling the hole. As you can see, there's the hole over there. That's a 3/8 hole, and the cord just fits through. And then once that's through, I'm going to I'll put some silicone on the inside there just to block anything from coming in there, like snow. And that's what it looks like on the other side. So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm just going to put sealant on the inside of those holes just to prevent anything from getting in there. And that's just what it looks like on the inside with the sealant. Okay, so as you can see over here, I've put a clip here to hold the wiring. It's going under the foam here. There's another clip right over here. And then this wiring is running down there, going across. I have it secured up here. And it comes up, it's hard to see here, but it's tied up here. And then it runs down behind the coolant bottle and then comes out right here. And now basically the next steps are going to be connecting the negative end to a ground, which is impossible for me to show you, is basically a chassis bolt or nut right over there. It's too dark, unfortunately. And then the positive end to the battery, and then we'll wire in the switch. So what I did was I pulled the battery out just to make it easier to get in here. So this right here is the chassis bolt that I was referring to. So I'm just gonna remove this nut, and this is where I'm gonna ground the wiring for the lights. So now the ground is connected over here. Our positive terminal is ready for when the battery comes back in, and that's just fastened up in there. And then we've got our switch over here. So the next thing we're gonna have to do is put in our battery, connect that up, and then we're gonna deal with the upper panel here to get the switch installed. So the battery is now reinstalled. Positive end of the lights is plugged in here under this rubber boot. And let's see if the lights work. They do. So in order to get this piece off to install our light switch, you gotta pop off these with a flathead screwdriver. So once you've gotten those out, just pull those out and pull out these parts as well. Once that's out, this whole panel will lift up and then it will slide out. And what you need to do is make sure to unplug the connections back here. So for your ignition, and for me particularly for my tether. So I'm going to remove that, and then this whole thing will slide out. Removed my magnetic tether, which really just required taking off this. I disconnected my ignition. The last thing here that's plugged in is my 12 volt helmet defogger plug. However, I'm not going to remove that because that's a little bit of a pain, but this is off enough that I should be able to drill my hole. I'm going to drill a hole right over here, and that's going to be where my light is. It looks like I'm definitely maxing out the space I have for plugs on this assembly. So I've got the light switch installed. This required a 3/4 inch hole cut, and then once that was done, this just popped in. And now that this is all back, I just got to connect these two pieces here and then move on just to neaten up some of the wiring underneath. So now I've got all the wiring tucked in. Fuse is right over here, so it's easily accessible. The wiring runs right up over there around the coolant bottle, and then it's connected nicely, strapped up over here, and then that goes right up to the switch right here. So that's it. I'm just going to put the hood back on, and then we'll see how the lights look. Okay guys, well there you have it. That's what it takes to install the LED light for your sled by Bite Harder. As you can see, it's not really super complex. Just make sure you have the tools you need, like the 3/4 inch hole cut to install the switch, and just making sure that the way you route your wiring stays away from any of the components of the sled that get hot, for example, like the exhaust, but on top of that, keeping it away from the brake system as well as the pull cord. That way you don't have any issues later on when you're on the trail. Other than that, just make sure again that you seal up those holes where the wiring comes in from the light if you're doing this on the Matrix. If you're doing it on the axis, you can kind of get it under the bumper. That way you don't have to make holes, but in the Matrix you do have to, so just make sure you seal those so nothing can come in while you're riding the sled. And just so you guys see, this is how the lights look. And obviously on the trail, they're gonna kind of be like fog lights. They'll light up a little bit on the side and right in front of the sled, so it will just add to the lighting of the sled. We'll be coming out with lots of new videos over the next couple weeks and months, doing installs and stuff as we get prepared for the season ahead, so definitely stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.